There's a level of self-control so absolute it frightens people. And today, you'll learn how to reach it. You've seen that person who never reacts, who moves slowly, deliberately, like every action is pre-decided by something beyond emotion. While others explode, they stay silent. While others chase pleasure, they disappear into practice. People look at them and whisper, "That's not normal." There's an ancient discipline born in the Shaolin temples of China that creates this kind of terrifying inner control. The monks call it Xinjing, the still mind, the practice that kills impulse before it even arises. Once you understand it, you'll see why most people never master themselves, because they never learn how to die before acting. Chapter 1. The Breaking Point. The story begins with a trader named Elias. Brilliant, talented, impulsive. Every decision came from emotion: profit, loss, fear, ego. He wasn't fighting the market. He was fighting himself. Every time he promised to stay calm, he broke. Every time he swore he'd wait for the signal, he jumped early. The pattern was exact: emotional high, crash, guilt, resolve, repeat. He thought he had a discipline problem. He didn't. He had a self-identity problem. The enemy wasn't the market. It was the untrained reaction inside him. Until one night, while reading about ancient warrior monks, he came across a concept so alien it felt impossible. True mastery is not control over the world. It's control over the one who sees the world. Chapter 2. The Silent Rule. At the Shaolin Temple, monks live under a rule that erases emotion from action. Xinjing, the still mind, demands that no decision be made in the heat of the moment. Every response is rehearsed before the stimulus ever occurs. They pre-decide everything. When insulted, silence. When tempted, withdrawal. When praised, stillness. They don't decide how to react. The decision was already made years ago. Here's the principle. If your reaction is determined in real time, you're already a slave to impulse. You're not acting. You're being moved. A Stanford neuropsychologist who studies behavioral inhibition found that in the instant before emotional reaction, a gap of roughly 250 milliseconds opens between impulse and action. Most people fill that gap with noise. Masters fill it with command. Elias built his life around that gap. Chapter 3. The Law of the Gap. He started with the 3-second rule. Every time emotions surged, anger, excitement, fear, he did nothing for 3 seconds. No messages, no trading, no response. Just breath. 3 seconds felt like eternity. His body screamed to act. The mind begged for release. But the pause created a fracture, a moment of awareness between him and the animal inside. After a week, he noticed something strange. The intensity of emotion didn't vanish. It weakened faster. The urge to act had lost power. A Harvard study on emotional regulation showed that naming a feeling in the moment drops its amygdala activation by up to 33%. Awareness dissolves impulse. By week 2, Elias could sense emotion coming before it arrived, like seeing a wave before it crashes. That's the beginning of self-mastery, the shift from reaction to observation. Chapter 4. The Ritual of Stillness. But observation isn't enough. The monks knew emotion must be burned through ritual, not reason. Every day, before sunrise, they perform Zhanzhuang, standing meditation. No movement, no fidgeting, complete stillness. They hold the position for 1 hour. The body trembles, the mind screams. The impulse to move becomes unbearable. But they don't move. They're training the nervous system to endure discomfort without fleeing. This rewires the prefrontal cortex to override limbic impulses, the biological foundation of emotional dominance. Elias replicated this in his own way. Every morning, 30 minutes of complete stillness. No music, no phone, no motion. Just sitting upright, breathing through the urge to move. He called it the war with the twitch. At first his body revolted. Then the revolt turned to surrender. By day 30, he could sit an hour without a single movement. He realized something terrifying. He no longer reacted to anything quickly. People spoke, he waited. Markets moved, he paused. Someone insulted him, no reaction. People began saying the same phrase to him. You feel emotionless. Perfect. Chapter 5. The dissolution of the self. Self-mastery requires killing the part of you that identifies with emotion. The monks call it the second death, when the mind stops confusing thought for identity. Elias wrote one sentence on paper. I am not my thoughts. I am the one watching them. Every time a reaction rose, he whispered it. Within weeks, his impulses stopped feeling personal. Anger didn't feel like his anger. Fear didn't feel like his fear. They were just passing signals. A Princeton neuroscientist studying metacognition found that when subjects label thoughts as external, the mind is producing anger instead of internal. I am angry. Emotional recovery time decreases by 40%. By week 6, Elias stopped fighting emotions. He observed them. They came and went like clouds. The mind had become a controlled environment. Chapter 6. The crisis of power. Mastery has a cost. When you no longer react, people accuse you of being detached, cold, uncaring. They can't read you. They project discomfort onto your stillness. But this is the test. When their emotion tries to provoke yours, and you remain unmoved, you've crossed the threshold. Elias faced it. His co-workers mocked him. His girlfriend said he'd changed too much. He didn't argue. He didn't defend. He simply continued the ritual. This is the moment most people collapse, when external validation disappears. But he had replaced validation with conviction. Self-mastery means the absence of negotiation, with emotion, with people, with circumstance. Chapter 7. The mechanism of immovability. By month 3, his inner state had become mechanical. Not robotic, precise. Wake at 4:30, cold shower, 60 minutes of stillness, trading from 6 to 10, reading until noon, no decision, no variance, no chaos. When something disrupted his schedule, power outage, travel, illness, he had a pre-response protocol. Laptop dead, paper journal, no internet, visualization drills, nothing broke continuity. This was Xinjing in full form, the practice that perpetuates itself. Chapter 8. The Transformation. On day 100, Elias's mentor said something that ended the journey. Emotion used to move you. Now you move emotion. That's self-mastery. When emotion becomes fuel, not interference, when control no longer requires effort, when reaction dies before it's born. People looked at him differently. Some admired him, some feared him. But he no longer cared what they felt. His identity had detached from perception. He'd achieved the scariest level of self-mastery, the ability to exist without reacting. Because true control isn't about discipline, it's about death, the death of impulse. When you reach that level, people will call you emotionless. They'll say you've lost your spark. They're wrong. You didn't lose emotion. You mastered it. And when that happens, you'll stop asking how to stay in control. Because you'll finally understand. You don't control yourself anymore. You are control.